Okay, so tell me, how long did your seeds last this week? Did they make it 7 days?
Yeah, they actually did. I kept them in um, until we reset them past
Wednesday.
with the group. Yes. Yep.
Okay, perfect. And as far as symptoms this week, how was sleep, dreams, anything that you
Okay.
noticed particularly?
So sleep was good. I am doing the routines for the sleep, but I'm because there is anger and hurt that's coming up. I'm still taking a little bit of a longer time to settle in, even with the routine. So I recognize, like, I kind of know what that is. It's the agitation and everything else. But I'm still sticking to my routine. It's been helping. I just, I'm not settling in like I want to. So it's just gonna take a little bit of time to release all of that.
Okay. Okay. Um, Good to know. What about dreams this week?
Oh
Any?
my gosh. Okay, so I am having them, but I will say not on my own because I sleep, I stay asleep, but my sleep has been interrupted with my little fur family. So like I remember being like in the midst of the dream, I'm like, oh, I'm right in it, and then bam.
Mhm.
And then I'll try to go back to sleep to see if I can get back into it, and I can't. So um I for some odd reason I've given them something to calm them down.
Mhm.
So I think my sleep should be
Okay, that's
more
enough.
sound and I should be able to recall the dreams because I'm having them, but once it's interrupted, it's like it completely leaves me. So yeah.
Okay, well, it's good that you're having them and noticing it. So that's you're on
Yeah.
the hook right there.
hmm I can't remember what else you asked me.
What about energy? Any fatigue
Oh,
or surplus
so
of
I have more energy.
good?
I noticed that I'm having a lot more energy than what I've had before. So yeah. Which is good because I'm usually completely worn out and have none. Like literally feel like I'm just dragging throughout the day, but I have a lot more energy doing my exercise workouts, and that's helping too with releasing agitation and the anger. So that's how I found a way to manage it.
Excellent. What about crying this week?
Um, there was some. I did have some crying, which is I recognize that's a release as well. Um, and that was from I had the took the bath that you had advised me to do. I made it for a half an hour, 5 minutes to a half an hour.
That that is exponential growth, half an hour. That is like,
I know.
okay, that's a
So
big difference. Was it on a scale of 1 to 10, how challenging was it to sit for 30 minutes?
to sit for 30 minutes, it was, I would say about maybe a five, because I would lay back and then I kept sitting up. Then I was like, okay, lean back down. So a couple times I kept sitting up and was like, oh my gosh, because there was some things that were uncomfortable coming up.
Mhm.
So it was challenging, but what I did set the timer and I was determined I was going to sit there for at least 20 to 30 minutes. So I kept sitting up and leaning back and sitting up and leaning back. And yeah, it was a lot of emotions that came up. So that was why. Because there was one point I was ready to get out at the 10-minute mark.
Mhm.
But I was like, no, it's helping you heal. You can release this way. Just like I said, like I can sit with it outside of the tub. But I
Mhm.
was like, I have to be able to sit with it in this moment. So I made that happen.
Oh, I'm really glad that you are finding value in that and you're really pushing attention because it is such a simple thing that we can take for granted. Yeah, but it's like a whole arena of healing. There's a specific level of healing I think that we face in the bathtub specifically.
Yeah. I think that's like you said, it's another arena of like I said, for me, I think it was I was pushing it because I didn't want to deal with it. But remember, I said I couldn't figure out why, and then it came to me, and yeah. So that yeah, it is a different arena.
Mhm.
So a
Okay.
lot of stuff came up, but I'm glad it came up, and because I did get a release from it. Not saying it's all gone, but I would say a nice amount of it. Like it was a lot of shame. Once I was able to put words to what I was feeling, and I was like, gosh, I didn't recognize my body was holding on to a lot of shame. Um, yeah, yeah. I didn't realize I was holding on to that much. So there was a lightness that I felt um, once I allowed myself to release it. There was, and I still feel it. I
Yeah.
still feel the lightness. So yeah,
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad for you. And I'm so proud of you for
thank you.
being willing to do it because, again, it seems like such a simple thing. But when you are carrying trauma that has been stored in your body for years and years, that can definitely be a very scary and overwhelming space. And I promise you, there are women with similar traumas who are not willing to sit in it and push that tension.
Yeah, it's not easy.
It's not.
It isn't. But like I'm willing to do the work. It means it's a big deal to me. This is not something I want to carry around for the rest of my life. It's not something that I want to have hold me back. I see how it has held me back in the past. I've held a lot of fear in my body along with shame. So I look at it now because like I'm in an environment where I feel safe.
Mhm.
So I think that has a lot to do with also one of the reasons why I was able to push myself and yeah, push myself and go ahead and sit with it. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Because again, if you weren't safe, if you had to cope, you wouldn't even be able to engage or make this
Yep.
space.
Yep. Exactly.
So just hats off to you. It's those are like the little rewards that you are storing up for yourself by yes, by making a good
Like
decision.
I celebrate that. I'll
Did you
figure it out.
so let's see. In the moment, or like the release that you had, did you capture that in your journal at all, or did you feel like you didn't
Um,
need to do that because you released it?
I still captured it because it was just, to make to have record of it. Um, so I did. What I hold on, here it is. I did. So I had said I took a bath soap, stayed in there for about 30 minutes, and I had set an intention to just be. I did the affirmations to release shame from sexual assault, shame from being raped, shame from being touched inappropriately and disregarded, degraded, shame of being in very abusive, unhealthy relationships. So, yeah, read it, takes you back. So, ooh.
Those are major steps
Mm.
to putting the post-traumatic stress behind you.
Yeah. Good
There's,
gracious.
there's an element of processing the stress that makes you feel like it almost didn't happen.
Yeah.
Like, is that really real? These words are matched to my lived experience. This is what it is. And
Yeah.
it's surreal. Like, it kind of makes your head spin at first.
You can understand why you suppress it too, to be able to function.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes. So capturing it, you're doing exactly the work. Exactly the work. And
Mm.
again, I commend you because what I see now is that you are taking control over your journey. You're giving your journey direction instead of your trauma directing you in your journey.
Mm. Mhm. Mhm.
There's a level of agency that you're demonstrating, a level of emotional competency, right? You're demonstrating that you have developed a skill set of identifying, processing, and releasing challenging emotions that before would have completely dysregulated you.
It would've- Yeah, I don't think I would have been able to even process it um well. Probably would have been balled up in a little knot somewhere. Literally.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because then it's like an immediate crisis. Like, wait, stop everything. I can't go to work. I
Hmm.
can't move off the spot on the floor.
Yes. And I remember during those times that there were times that I literally had to call out from work.
Mhm.
I could not function emotionally.
Mhm.
And I remember that. It completely took me over. So, yeah.
That is a part of it, especially at the beginning. And it's so funny because as Black women, we do not want to take time off work. Don't want to have to use PTO.
We don't.
No.
What is that? You're right. We do not. But it got to the point where at that time work wasn't satisfying for me and I would take them and then I would run out of time and then I had to sit through all that to build it back up and then would take it again and run out. So yeah. Yeah.
Yes, please, my goodness, I had to beg us to use PTO, use sick time, especially when you're going no contact. It's the same thing as losing that parent.
I
You're
didn't think
grieving.
about.
You're
Yeah,
your parent. That is not like nothing. Take some time off work.
that's true.
Yeah.
Yep.
It definitely is a part of it. Starting out, the like complete collapse of identity and ability to function. Um, but yeah, just don't forget to look back at how far you have come because this is not the work that a beginner can do. The work you're doing right now is a result of your hard work and a privilege. Everybody cannot sit in what you sat in alone and be okay and like come out and continue to function.
That wasn't easy, but
Yeah. Oh, and I think that not wanting to take time off work, honestly, I think it goes back to a slave mentality. It goes back to like this whole 40 years thing, this badge of honor that we wear of
I'm sorry. Oh, that's my cat. I'm sorry. I was like, where is that coming from? Go ahead.
okay. The like badge of honor we wear for working 4 years
Yeah.
perfect attendance. They teach it to us early in school with perfect attendance.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God. You are so right. And we get an award if we didn't take off any days from school. Wow. It's instilled in us from childhood.
Yeah, they start us off early because yeah, that's a
I
whole
know. That's a whole nother.
yes. But the pipeline from school to employee, which is code for capitalist slave,
Mm.
it's a direct flow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, just the fact that you are willing and able to take the time and use it for yourself, like the self-care is a skill set, but it also shows that you have moved past that self-loathing, that block with your inner child, whereas at first, it's awkward, it's uncomfortable to be with her.
It was. I remember when I said in the beginning, I didn't know what to do with her. What am I supposed to? I was completely clueless. Like, what am I supposed to do with her?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I didn't want her jacking up my finances, everything. I was like, when you told me that, I was like, wait a minute, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do with her? I remember that in the very beginning.
Yeah. It's like having a toddler and white couches. Like, oh my God,
Yeah.
I'll make a move. Yeah. So yes, definitely. So I think for homework, does another 30-minute bath sound appropriate?
Yeah. I'm interested to see what comes up this time. Because the first one, it was heavy. I stuck with it, but it was heavy. Um, but I'm interested to see how I feel for the next one and see if it's just as heavy or if it's more lighter. Hopefully, it's lighter. And maybe it's something new possibly comes up that may have suppressed and just was like, oh, what is this? Hopefully not.
Okay. Well,
But
let's see.
we'll see. I see that light at the end of the tunnel. So yeah, let's bring it. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So then, along with that, the anger.
Okay. Yeah, that's still a thing.
Would you say did it escalate to a rage point? Did you have a rage fit, or was it just a constant level of agitation?
It went from agitation to was very, very frustrated. Like it was messing with my patience. I noticed I've become a little bit more impatient than what I felt like I worked on my patience before because I know I've been impatient. Worked on my patience, had it, but I felt like this time I didn't have any. Like little things was just ticking me off. Yeah. So that's where I've been lately. And so that anger is still there. And like I told you, I'm exercising, I'm handling it more especially more responsibly. Um I'm impatient. It's very frustrating and I'm agitated a lot. So the only thing I can think of right now and I haven't released it is the exercise. Um, the only thing that bothers me is that it won't go nowhere sometimes. It just, I'm like, why do you just keep sitting there? And so it's like, and it'll sit like in this area
Mm-hmm.
and it just goes outward. So I'm frustrated, I'm losing patience, I'm snapping. Um, um, that's something else I got to figure out.
Mm.
I mean, I figured from what I was able to release in the tub, that's where it's coming from.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
where it's coming from now, I don't know.
Hmm. Um, so you say the feeling is specifically sitting on your chest?
It's in here, and that's where I said like I feel like why won't it go? Can you just go somewhere? So I feel like it's sitting here.
Mhm.
Yes,
Mhm.
and I know that that's like more hurt that's coming up.
Yes. Because what's really coming to me is like heart chakra. And I'm wondering if it's sitting on your chest. Is it the kind that is like tight and connected to tears?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And I'm fighting back tears, and I'm used to like from the grief retreat I had went on with Catherine, like she was telling us release, don't be afraid to cry, but I'm holding them back. I don't want to cry right now. So I'm going taking little baby steps back, and I'm like, just let them flow, and I'm holding them back. So when I exercised that moment, like it was an instant release, and they all came running down. So I was crying while I was exercising, but in the midst when I'm not, I'm like, I don't feel like this right now. It's right here. I just wanted to go away for a moment.
um, I'm getting the themes of like injustice and helplessness again,
Mm,
because you have, again, you've demonstrated that you are emotionally available and willing to make space for sadness when it surfaces. This is not just sadness. This is actually anger, right? You need to cry about it, but it's not because you're sad, it's because you're angry.
angry.
You're pissed. There's still a part of you that is like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pissed.
Ooh, I don't know if you have any of those rage rooms in your area. That might be something to look into.
Didn't even know that. Just look, just like the bath liners. Like, oh, that's a thing. I didn't know that the rage room was a thing. So now, Franny, you got me like, okay, I
Yeah.
gotta go. Here we go.
And they're very different. They're kind of like the escape room.
Oh, okay.
So they all vary. Um, but there are some where you can pick your theme. Like if you want to go break glass, you go break glass.
Oh,
If you want to go like throw rocks at something, you can kind of pick your theme. If you want to use bats or whatever,
mm-hmm.
what appeals to you, and you just go and have at it.
Right. Gotta be something here.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe, yeah, look into that.
Mhm.
Look into that. Um, but yeah, the agitation, the frustration is because you would like to just get it over with. It's like
Yeah,
what you're ultimately avoiding is really facing whatever it is that made you feel helpless. That it's like seeing, centering the injustice of it all because it already happened and there's nothing you can do to change what already happened. And when we have to go back and see clearly what it is that we experienced, what another person subjected us to intentionally,
that's
that
it.
mhm,
The
yeah, that's when
tension that pisses me off.
yeah. Hmm.
And you continued to do it.
Hmm.
You continued to do it.
Hmm. Now, again, this is it's painful, so it's gonna hurt. But what comes out of this kind of work is a strong connection to your primal instincts. So I don't know if you've done kickboxing or boxing, if that appeals to you. Some sort of protective practice. But when you have to process this kind of rage, it it produces a mindset that says, I'm not going to be anybody else's victim.
Yeah.
So as soon as you see a red flag, as soon as that particular trigger goes off, all of your inhibitions fall away. So any of those inhibitions that have been instilled in you by mom that say when you're being mistreated, you have to be quiet. When you're being mistreated, you're not allowed to have an emotional response. You're not allowed to speak up. You don't get to complain. You have to simply take it or else be further abused. Those are the inhibitions that you're going to unlearn by doing this. And
I just remember feeling stuck younger in the midst of that. Like I couldn't get out of it. Just feeling miserable. I remember that.
is it like the feeling
It was like up here, throat chakra.
that like tightness?
Yes. Like I
Yeah.
have it now because that memory and I feel it now, like that tightness. Yeah.
Because
Mm-hmm.
you were silenced. And there's a primal, again, it's natural. Anything in nature is equipped with tools to protect itself.
And it carried on with me all the way up until, of course, adulthood. I remember feeling this tightness all the time. That's before I even knew what that was, the chakras and stuff like that. I felt that tightness for the longest time.
So then,
Like I lost my words at times, had trouble speaking. And so there was an incident that happened not too long ago, a couple days ago. And it must have been a trigger because I remember for a moment I felt this tightness. Cried it out, and then it went away. And until you just said that, the memories came back and of that, and I just felt the tightness again. Mm-hmm.
So I'm being reminded of, I feel like, what was round one when we were doing your original coaching work and you had your breakthrough.
Yeah.
Yes. So there's a round two.
Yeah. I need to go scream again and get in the car and cuss somebody out. I need to, yeah.
So
I need to get angry, allow myself to get angry and just yell and
let it out. Yeah. Also be aware that while you are working through this, you may be tested in this area. I know. Test in this area, there's a little silver lining, a little one. Test in this area can be a little bit fun.
It can be what?
A little bit fun. Only because your job is not to hold back and to give the person what they're asking for.
I feel like it already happened, but I had to maintain myself in that situation. So that's why by the time I got home, I was pissed, and all I could do was cry it out.
Now, was it like a work thing? Okay. That makes sense. That's like that limitation makes a lot of sense, which is why we as Black women don't belong in toxic workplaces, because it is a form of oppression that subjects us to dehumanization. Again, a whole different thing, but work makes sense.
Yeah.
Just Keep in mind, it will come back to the memory if you will not believe it. If you are tested in this area, your job is not to hold back your emotional response for the benefit of the other person. If
Okay.
they have violated your boundary, if they've made you uncomfortable, if they have triggered you to be angry and you know that you communicated effectively, that you have made every effort to like keep the peace and be respectful, and this person is just crossing you, do what comes naturally to you.
Okay. For some reason, it's like my mind wants to revert back to childhood as do that, don't do that because you're protecting yourself.
That is what we call a maladaptive behavior.
Ah,
It's maladaptive because at one time that did keep you safe.
yeah.
Now that doesn't serve you.
It doesn't. It doesn't. Not now. You're right.
So without guilt, out filter, the thing is there's a fear of losing control.
That's it.
And I'm telling you this from experience. To this day, I have not met a pair of humans with a larger capacity for violent outbursts than my two parents,
Mm,
myself, because I have their DNA.
yeah.
So I really struggled to embrace my own anger, my ability to in the moment engage my anger and not people please the other person.
Oh, I'm so mad 'cause that's what I had. Sorry. Oh, that's what I did. And I was, when I say there was a fire brewing in me, I was spitting fire, but on the inside. And I was just like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
What you're going to learn to do as you process this is um, you're not going to people please the other person and betray yourself and like take the anger home, and then you're at home and you're pissed about it, but they're gone now. You're at home. What you're going to do is you're going to learn to completely offload it in the moment. Don't hold anything back, because what will happen is when you walk away, no matter what happens, by the time you get home, you're going to feel like, okay, well, so be it. It happened. I said what I had to say. They said what they had to say. I didn't hold anything back. I'm not carrying anything. And I'm able to look myself in the mirror and respect myself because I did not betray myself in that moment. I didn't become a victim. And it is reminding me that the trauma bond, did we talk last time about the trauma bond? The trauma bond is the specific bond between the abuser and their victim.
yeah.
So when we are raised by an abuser, we have that trauma bond with our parent, and in the moment, we learn to protect them.
Wow. That seems, I don't understand that. I don't understand.
Well, as especially when it's our parent, when we're children, right? We don't want to hurt our mommy. We don't have to want like that's not. It's counterintuitive.
Yeah.
We take it onto ourselves. We naturally believe that it's our fault, that we have done something to cause it, and we try to understand how we can modify our behavior to be better and to meet their expectation.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Oh, okay.
So again, now that you're an adult and you can see that that response is maladaptive, you can
Mhm.
you can consciously begin to flip that switch and realize what will happen is the people who come along to trigger you, you will see them as opportunities from the universe, opportunities to practice your boundaries, opportunities to get comfortable and familiar with going to the place that you need to go to emotionally to let that other person know. And you may lose control at first because it's not something that you have practiced. You know, your voice may shake, you might cry, you may say things you don't anticipate saying, you might get a little flustered. All of that is okay and to be expected. That's why
Mhm.
you need to practice it.
I've been there before, but I felt like I was losing control.
Mhm.
So, and then at that moment, I didn't know where it was going to take me. So I remember shutting myself down. So that's why when that happens, the shaking or the it's like, okay, let me shut down and just completely leave or whatever, walk away instead of really getting it all out that has happened. And I felt like I'm about to lose control.
Yeah.
So
There's beauty in learning that sometimes it's okay to lose control.
mhm.
Because the thing is, remember, your body is your friend. If you're getting angry, it's for a reason.
But um, when what am I trying to say? It's not always safe though to do that. It's not always safe as Black women to do that.
Yes, right, right. There's so many layers, right?
Yeah.
Because
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there's a fine line. There's a tightrope that we're walking.
Right.
In the event that you are in a public place with witnesses and you don't feel that you have to shut down to stay safe and escape, right? Your body's gonna let you know, fight or flight. If
Okay.
it's not a time to fight, you're gonna know. You're gonna leave.
Right. Okay.
But there are gonna be times, and the thing is, with these kind of tests, it could be
Mm,
so trivial, because it's not gonna be a life or death situation.
right.
It's gonna be like for me, it is customer service interactions. Man,
Yeah. You're right.
and, and here, what I have had to learn, right? Because you got to pick your battles.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to say something.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to say something. And that's because, again, when you get back to your house, when you get back to the same bathroom mirror that you look into every single day, is there going to be a little bit of shame because you didn't protect yourself?
The guilt might come in like, why did not? Yeah. Or just being really hard on myself for not standing up for myself. I'm
Mhm.
doing that a lot lately. So for me, if I don't, I know I'm gonna beat myself up when I get home. I'm gonna feel so disappointed in myself.
And that's because you're a parent of your inner child now when you were not before, right? You have
Yeah.
owned up to the responsibility of being a parent. You're not considering it, you're not thinking about it, you're not maybe doing it, getting used to it. You're done. You're doing it. You're doing it now.
Yeah.
So again, when opposition shows up to your boundary, you're gonna meet them. You're gonna face it down.
Yeah.
And anything in nature has tools equipped to protect themselves, down to a plant.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Cut an onion open right now. It's gonna do what it can do to prevent you
Mhm.
from eating it.
You're right.
So if an onion is allowed to use all of its faculties to protect its own life, why am I filtering my natural response to benefit this person who just demonstrated that they have no respect for me at all?
Yeah, that's the trigger for me. Any type of disrespect, I have zero.
Mhm,
Oh, let's not go there.
mhm. Yep.
Zero.
And then on top of all the other all the other factors,
Yeah.
Black women who have the most reason to be upset of anyone, have any sort of a grievance. As soon as you step into your anger, don't be surprised when they label you as
Oh
angry,
yeah.
as aggressive, as problematic. But that doesn't matter. That has to fall by the wayside.
Yeah. I'll just have to be your angry, aggressive, whatever.
So be it.
Yeah.
I would rather be all those things than
Yeah.
be.
Yeah. Yeah. This is about calling our power back, you know. That's what that is.
It is. And yeah, it's good. It's frustrating.
It is.
Pissed
It
off
is. It's
in the
frustrating at the same time.
process. Yes. Yeah, but it's like it's a nice little check-in. In fact, at this point, when those little things happen, I usually walk away feeling better
Right.
because I can see it for what it is. Oh, you need me to cuss this person out real quick? That's not what I was planning on doing, but I mean, here we are, and boom, there it goes. You
Mhm.
pulled the trigger. I'm not holding it back for you. You
Right.
pulled the trigger. And afterwards, it's a nice little check, like, oh, okay, yep, I'm standing on business. Boundaries are still safe. When I go about my business, I feel safe because my boundaries are reinforced. I know not
Yeah.
to let anybody come along and mistreat me because I wasn't on guard. I wasn't expecting it. No, I don't have to be in survival mode all the time. If you violate my boundary, I'm going to respond to protect myself. So as that agitation is sitting, it's going to break up. It will begin to break and move out, but it's going to come in tears. And you're probably going to feel that agitation until you have a break.
Yeah.
Yeah, a
'Cause
break.
that's what's been. I'm even feeling it in the seat. Oh, darn it! It hurts this time. I'm sorry. In the area where you put it, and I remember I was like, I'm so angry. We placed them. I was like, oh, they hurt. Like it hurts this time.
I'm sorry.
Heck on it. But that lets me know that's the area that needs to be worked on. So there is a benefit in these ear seeds because where you are feeling the most sensitive, where is very uncomfortable, that's what you need to work on. Oh my gosh. And the whole time, that area never bothered me.
Yep.
But now, oh, I don't even want to touch it. That's why when I tapped it, I was like, it hurts.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true because that liver point is usually pretty like numb to sensation at first.
Yeah. No, boy, it's
It's
open.
yeah, yeah. And I think that's why it's like the anger is more dense. And if you notice the way the seeds are arranged, the sympathetic and chin men are kind of sitting at the top.
Mm-hmm.
And that's your physical detox and that's your spiritual detox. Those 2 points. But the kidney, liver, and lung, those are the emotional points. The fear,
More,
the
more
anger,
deep.
sadness. Yeah. So it's like the physical detox starts right away. Um, the
Yeah, because up here
mhm,
and Shimin, like, we're good now.
right,
It's
right.
like starts and it's making its way down,
Mhm.
way up this thing right here. I'm like, it's good. I don't even have to touch it. Just do what you need to do.
A good sign you're on the right track. See it through.
Yeah.
And then I believe it will break down into grief and sadness.
This one down here.
Mhm.
What is that one again?
It's the lung point,
Okay, so it's
grief, sadness.
yeah, because this one didn't really bother me. I can have my hand on now, this one and that.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Very good. Yeah.
Yeah. Very interesting. It's been very interesting. Just, keeping me aware and noticing but when I started, I was like, okay, now I have all this awareness and now I'm like, oh, this is what I need to work on. So
Yeah. Very, I mean,
I like them, but I don't like them.
fair enough. Fair.
Yeah. But no, they serving the purpose.
Mhm.
So whether I don't like them, I'm sticking this out. We getting through this. Just for the moment right now. For the moment, I
Mhm.
don't like them.
Yeah. Fair enough.
It's okay. It's okay.
The anger is a real rough patch to work through.
Oh man. Yeah, it is. So
But you're definitely making progress. And I mean, once it breaks down into grief and sadness, then I think you will be ready for some needle treatment.
yeah.
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 I think that's interesting to see.
But I will say certain cravings that
Mhm.
I had
Yeah.
are
Fine. Okay, good.
gone. And I credit the ear seeds because it was out of control at one point. But the cravings are gone. I mean, they're gone. If I go to it, it's just a texture thing, but it's not an emotional thing like I'm craving because I need that emotion, feeding an emotional void. It's gone. It is gone. Yay. So I
Congratulations.
noticed that.
Yes, I know weeks 1, 2, and 3, we were still talking about cravings. Yeah.
It's
Okay.
gone.
Cravings are gone.
Yeah, I noticed that and I was like, oh, I don't want it.
Mhm.
Absolutely gone. That was amazing.
Uh, yeah, I asked you about your journaling. Is journaling a part of your routine right now?
Yeah, it's part of the routine. Um, yeah, it is. I mean, when something comes up, yeah, but it stays by me. It goes with me.
Mhm.
I keep it on me, so it's always with me. It's by the bed. When I leave the house, it is with me. Especially if I'm going somewhere and I'm going to be there for long periods of time. This is with me. It's in a bag, and I reference it when I need to, write in it when I need to. And if I can, I will jot something down in the phone real quick, and then I take it out of the phone and it goes in here. For some reason, this is more safer for me.
Mhm.
Anything can happen with the phone electronically, information can be taken. So it's rarely ever that I jot it in there. It goes in here. Yeah, it's more secure.
Okay, good. I'm glad you feel safe with your journal.
Yeah.
Mm, okay. So you said that you were able to get into the feelings wheel
I
and
was able to get into the what?
feelings
Oh,
wheel.
the feelings wheel. So I did. And as a matter of fact, did I save it? I did. I'm just gonna pull it up real quick. Um, Here it is. So I believe I was having problems trying to put something in the words.
Mhm.
It
The
was
feelings that were coming up during the bath.
yes. So what came up? Okay. So what came up was when I pulled up the feelings wheel, it was hurt, shame, insignificant. That resonated. Of course, angry, um, critical, but insignificant stood out for me. Like I just did not feel important. Insignificant. Because there was no respect for me, for my body, for just me as a person and me as a mother. No respect was there. And so I look at that from childhood violation, and it carried on into adulthood, into the abusive, very unhealthy relationships. And it all did the same thing. It may have been a different form, but it was still the same thing. And I carried that shame from then all the way up to now. But it's amazing. I didn't realize that that's what it was. It was shame that I was holding on to until I took the time to sit with myself in the bathtub.
Um, does self-loathing resonate with you? Maybe to a degree.
Maybe. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it did. It does.
Right. The internalizing the being treated without respect.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Whew.
So that is okay. It's okay to just observe that that is there. And there's no need to intentionally try to shift that. You are able to just observe it. That will naturally shift when you release the anger.
Um,
And you'll notice that it is replaced with forgiveness and grace.
Grace and forgiveness are two different things, right? For yourself.
Yes,
For
yes,
yourself. For
yes.
myself, okay, I can do that.
You will not only forgive yourself for being abused, for whatever your role was in the abuse, even if that was just accepting it, you will forgive yourself, but also you will be able to extend grace to yourself for all the times along the way from then till now.
Okay.
Any mistakes you can observe that you've made looking back on your relationships, you'll be able to extend grace, and moving forward you'll be able to extend grace when you notice, because even once you process that anger, when you move forward to then start moving into brand new relationships, we'll have trials, you'll be tested there. So you may notice that you are feeling a draw to someone who feels familiar. Instead of blaming yourself or panicking, you'll simply be able to observe, extend grace, and make a different choice.
Right. Okay.
um, yeah. Are you doing anything to play right now, or like treat yourself?
Oh, so I used to love it when I was a kid. I got bubbles. Oh my gosh.
I love bubbles.
Love bubbles. I absolutely love, I don't know what it is, but I love them. They just make me, I don't know. It's just real, I don't know. I love bubbles. So I brought a whole case of bubbles.
Yes,
So
that's
I
a
was like, I'm gonna blow the bubbles out in the backyard and just blow bubbles. Oh my gosh. So
yeah.
simple, but
Mm-hmm.
when I saw them, I just lighted up. I was like a little kid, like in Walmart, picking up the bubbles in the cart.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
bubbles. I love it. That's gonna be some playtime, and I think it's just the bubbles right now. Oh, and then I had Play-Doh. I have to buy some more. But I remember when I was little, I liked the smell of it. I never liked to eat it. That wasn't my thing. But I would just smell it. So I want to get some Play-Doh and then just Play-Doh and bubbles.
Perfect. Play-Doh and bubbles.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay. Good. Good. And so your seeds are already set. We did those in Wednesday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's very, very, I mean, it's more sensitive than what I expected.
Mm.
Um, you know how you probably noticed it that I will have my earpiece and
Mhm.
it's in there. It's just out of habit. I forget it's there. Oh no, these e-series now let me know that that earpiece is in my ear. It is not.
Mm.
I used to here it is right here. I used to have it in my ear.
Yeah.
I can't. No,
I mean, that's your sign that it's working.
it is working. It is really, really working. Hmm. Yeah, down here, up in here. Oh God, down. Yeah, it's up in the one that's hidden up in here and down here. This one, not as not as much. It's sore, but it's not. It's nowhere near like the other two.
Mhm.
So
I definitely think that's significant. You know, you're at a midpoint, I think, in your detox.
yeah,
Keep an eye on that this week if it's consistent or if it changes by the end of the week. What about water? Are you
yeah. I drink water. I drink a lot of coconut water. Like it stays in the refrigerator. I'm always grabbing it. For some reason, nothing wrong with regular water, but that really I feel like it hydrates me so much better, and it just gives me a cooling feeling. I feel refreshed and just does something for me. So I drink a lot of that. I feel like that's all I drink. I'm serious. I feel like that's all I drink. I need to kind of invest in it, honestly. That's some stock for coconut water. That's all I drink.
something, honestly? Okay, that's good. You just want to make sure you're not hydrated because you're still flushing toxins.
Yeah. Is it when you say toxins, it's emotional toxins, but it's also physical as well? It's
Physical, yes, because the seeds trigger your body's lymphatic system to
that's
drain.
right. Okay.
Yeah, so at the beginning, it feels like you might be urinating more often than usual.
Mhm.
But as you kind of work through the detox and you get into the midpoint where you are now, it could be the more deeply stored toxins are surfacing. So sometimes it makes you tired. You might notice like headaches. Um,
Oh, I did. I think you had mentioned that the last time. And it's funny after you mentioned it, I started having headaches. And I said, did she mention I said, Dani mentioned headaches. And sure enough, I started having the headaches. And I kept saying, well, my pressure's good, not hungry. I don't feel stressed out. And I was like, oh, this has got to be the detox. So I started having headaches. Yep.
yep, that's that. It's being released because it's been stored for a long time. And the longer you wear the seeds, the more you're able to flush.
Yeah, and I still have them. They're not as heavy as they were when it started, but I feel them. It's a light little haze of it right here, and then it goes away. So they're starting to, you know, completely be just gone.
Yeah. Kind of that, like, it's a little bit like that icky feeling when you can feel yourself getting sick and you can like feel the germs.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, that's what it is. And they're working their way out. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way I'm gonna stop and I'm at the midpoint. No, I'm almost there. I'm halfway. Nope.
Right. 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 Push
Yeah.
on out and man, oh,
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you did all this work. Seriously. You're glowing. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Yes, you're
You
glowing.
know what?
Yes. Yes.
I probably because I was in the midst of something not too long ago, so I didn't even notice it. I
Yeah.
haven't noticed. Am I?
Yes. Yes.
Good.
It's all on you. You're glowing.
Hmm,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yes, definitely. It's a very happy, peaceful vibe.
I
Very,
feel like I look a little different in my face area, but I wasn't paying attention to the glow. I was up in here when I was in the midst of going through that challenging moment. But yeah, well, good.
it's like your light is fully shining. Yeah.
Well, I feel lighter, so that's part of it. Yeah, I think it had a lot to do with the taking that bath as well.
Mhm.
Because I said after I was able to sit with it and then release it, I felt lighter after. Like literally a load had lifted off of me when I made peace with it, but recognized it for what it was, that it was shame and that Esha, it's time to let that go. Oh, I got chills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cleansing your aura, and that's the thing about this not a detox is that you are doing a physical, emotional, and spiritual detox.
Mm, wow.
So you have a lot going on.
Yeah, all at once.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's
So
good.
when that anger comes up, for now, honestly, I think if you can see the anger as being your friend, because the anger is protecting you from the hurt until you're ready for it.
Mm.
That agitation says, I would rather be agitated than hurt right now.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna agitation until I get sick of it. It's just like craving sugar. It's the same thing. It's like I'm gonna eat this sugar until I'm sick of it. And oh great, now this is disgusting. I don't want it anymore. And you go back to broccoli.
Yeah, because I've been going, well, I'm vegetarian anyway, but I eat a little, seafood and stuff here if my body needs it. So I don't like putting myself in a box, but I have really been consuming a lot of vegetables. I mean, like some people be like that's a little overboard. Like I've been consuming them like crazy, and I literally was like, is this part of this? Like, cause I noticed it. Like I'm like wanting them. Like it's over the top.
Hmm.
So,
Well, a shift in appetite is not uncommon.
oh really?
Yeah,
Because
it can
it has
go.
completely shifted big time. I've noticed it. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. An increase in appetite with a decrease in cravings is a good balance.
Increase in appetites and decrease in the cravings.
Cravings, right? That's a good
Yeah,
balance.
because those cravings are gone, and I just like I'm eating bowls of it. It's
I think that is a good sign. I think
it is a good sign, but it's like I've noticed it, and that's like okay. But I didn't know that that was part of it. I just noticed that it has completely shifted
yeah, because
how I eat, what I eat, everything.
your body's doing a lot of work. So it makes sense that you might be a little more hungry.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you're staying hydrated, it makes sense that you might want some extra calories because you are doing a lot and you're flushing a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, keep an eye on those headaches this week. I'm curious if they continue, decrease, or increase.
They feel like they're decreasing, but I would say all last week they were hitting me hard for a minute. I was still able to function, but I knew I was like, gosh, yeah, I was having headaches. So, and they seemed like that was 2 weeks ago, right? Yeah.
Um,
Was it 2 weeks ago?
that was last week.
It was last week. Okay. They were hitting last week. They were definitely hitting last week. And then they've eased up this week. They're still there. Like I get little like we're still here, but it's light. It's not like as heavy as it was. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, that's good. Hopefully they taper off this week.
Yeah.
In the moment, a massage on the sympathetic point may help to release it or reduce it in the moment.
Okay.
Hopefully they are tapering off. Okay, very, very good. Excellent. I could not be happier. If anything, so let's see, homework, another 30-minute bath.
Yeah.
Look into a rage room in your area.
Yeah. I wrote that down.
Yes. And be on the lookout for those tests of your throat chakra to speak up and protect yourself.
Okay. Rather not have any more tests right now. Right now. But okay.
Yes.
I think they'll come up when I'm, just doing my regular thing and it'll just go be natural. Did I tell you I wasn't a fan of tests?
But I mean, I'm not surprised. They can be a whole trip.
Yeah. Yeah, they can.
I think you're going to do great. I really do. Oh, because I remember you had a little test in this area and we talked about it and you responded in the moment. Some stranger was like looking at you.
Oh yeah, I remember that. And I was driving and I hit the brakes and I would have never I hit the brakes and I was like, what did he say?
Mhm.
And I was like, what? That was so unlike me. I would have never done that. I would have never. And I literally I backed the car up.
Mhm.
Like it would have never happened in the past.
Yes, again, so proud of you because
Hey.
natural, you didn't stop it, and you let the other person wonder what was going to happen.
Yeah. I it was like an out of body experience.
Yeah, that's how it feels. That's how it feels. Yep.
I remember that. I was like, I would have never done something like that. But yeah, it happened.
Yes, it is okay to lose control sometimes, and it's not your job. It's not your job to control your emotional responses for other people.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. If they trigger it, now again, if you've communicated appropriately, you set boundaries, you've been respectful, you carry yourself the way you do in all your other
Right.
relationships.
Right.
If they trigger it, so be it. Let them have it.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. So with that, I will be seeing you next week for group session, and then we have our next one-on-one 2 Fridays from now.
Okay.
Wait, wait.
Well,
Let me ask
if
you.
you don't mind, when we talk off, we might be able to alter that schedule.
Okay,
I
perfect.
might need to alter where it doesn't have to be that late anymore.
Ooh. And thank you again. Thank you for sharing this session. Seriously, I really,
Okay.
I have been talking to other clients who are viewing our sessions, and I know for sure that it is helping women to see inside your journey. So thank you for sharing.
Absolutely. Good. My pleasure. My pleasure. You know, I wouldn't have done this alone.
I know.